Hey guys, Corinne here, and if you're new to my channel, I teach about how you can lose weight and get yourself in shape with index cards. So I used to think that losing weight was all about just eating less, working out like a mad woman, just calories in versus calories out kind of thing. But after yo-yoing fluctuating my weight up and down so many times, I think maybe 3 times I have lost 50 plus pounds at this point. It wasn't until this third time that I was like, I really need to figure out what is the root of the problem of why I keep losing and then gaining and then losing and then gaining. So, like I said in the intro for this, I have yo-yoed my diet has my weight has fluctuated 3 times, right? And this time around is actually really different, and it's all because of something that's so cheap, so inexpensive, right? Index cards, right? It's just so silly. If you've seen anything else on my channel here, you've seen that I talk about index card planning, but what I didn't really say is what really got me started with index cards, and what then led me to using index cards as my planning system is I started using them as a weight loss tool. So you can see on here, I brought my this little calendar I have of March last year. I was 209, and I know at one point I got all the way up to 215. And somewhere along here, I'm going to have my video editor put some before and after pictures up here, even though I am so scared to death to do it. But it has been a year, and I've lost a total of 60 pounds. And I know this time is going to be different just because of the way my mindset is this time compared to how it was last time. So today I want to show you all about what I did, right, to lose 60 pounds using index cards. And then my journey will really be about what I do now to keep it off, right? So that as I learn to keep it off and maintain, you can follow along on that journey too. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to share today how I lost 60 pounds without crazy dieting, without crazy working out, right? By making one simple shift, and that's using index cards to train my brain. So, like I said, I struggled with this so many times, and what I did was I read this book called Beck's Diet for Life, okay? And the book is actually pretty old. I want to say it was, I'd have to go back and look of when exactly it was published, but it's been around. So it's been around for a while. And it's kind of a tough book to read, I would say. So I definitely didn't, it took me a while to get through it. I would read parts of it, and then I'd just sort of put it away because I'm like, oh, this is gonna make me fall asleep, right? But when I started doing some of the exercises she explained and started doing what she said to do, then it all kind of started clicking. So I'm gonna kind of go through my variation of it, okay? So basically you start off with coming up with your why, and I would say that's probably pretty consistent for any weight loss program, right? Is you come up with your why. You want to lose weight, right? Why do you want to get in shape? So you put them on your index card, okay? And I have all of mine on here. I have 3 pages of them, right? And then on here, you basically go through these every day, and it takes you 5 minutes, okay? But the whole point of the index card is that it's training your brain to think differently. So this goes back to cognitive behavioral therapy, and I am not a therapist by any means, so I'm not going to get really deep in the weeds of this. But basically, the cards make you, when you get the repetition of doing the cards all the time, kind of like when you used to study for a test, you'll start to remember the answer to the test because you had so much repetition of the flashcards that you just know it now. And the whole goal of getting yourself to lose weight and keep it off was to make it such a habit to think a different way that it was like brushing your teeth. Like, I didn't need motivation. I don't need motivation to go brush my teeth, right? I know I just get up in the morning, I go brush my teeth, right? Before you go to bed, you brush your teeth. Like, it's just a habit. So the point of the cards was making it so your weight loss mindset and how you go about things to lose weight becomes so like robotic that you don't need motivation anymore, right? That you don't have to have hard discipline. I feel like I'm fumbling with this a little bit because I'm explaining it my own way. I had like a whole script, but I was like, I'm struggling to follow this script, so I'm just going to keep going with this. So after you have your advantages deck, or like your why, right? You go through these every morning and you just sort of read them, okay? Now, one thing she didn't have in the book was I added onto mine that I wanted to also do a monthly vision board, okay? So I actually have all my vision boards for starting last year. I didn't start this until May, and then I have this guy from March. So it's like I started at 2:15, and I would write down my weight every day, and this would fold up so I could have it right in my index cards. But in May, I started just this little guy, and it would say lose 20 pounds and basically weigh 193 pounds by May 1st, okay? So there's pictures of me when I was thin, right, from the last time I did this, which was 11 years ago, by the way. So, which is like a fun thing, is that I feel like I look how I used to look 11 years ago now. So that was May, right? And then I had one for June where I got down another. And then here's July's. So I had one for July, okay? Then I had one for, did I have one for August? I can't find it in here. October, okay? And then this is the one I have right now that I'm finishing out. I'm finishing out for this month, which I want to be down to 155, which I've hit that goal, starting at 215 down to 155. I'm officially at 60 pounds. I still have 10 more to go. However, a fun thing that I learned with this, right, was over the holidays, like I really slacked off on doing my cards. And this is how I know it's going to be different, is that I slacked off on doing my cards over the holidays and actually gained 10 pounds back over the holidays. And then I immediately got back on my cards and I started working on them. So it just goes to show that like this is something you have to stick with to keep going, right? Okay, so after you have your little vision board, your whys, okay? This is where we start to get into the like things to retrain your brain, these other cards, okay? So there's ones on here that have made such a huge difference. I am a stress eater, right? And I go and I shove food in my mouth to basically just get me to, I shove things in my mouth when I'm stressed out. I look for the easy thing, right? That's usually not the healthiest thing. So I have a card for that talks about like that 60-second binge is not worth how I feel now with my confidence, with being fit, with being healthy, right? So you make a card for it. Another one I would do is I was a seconds eater. I would go up for seconds all the time. So even I have one on here for even if you feel like eating more, it's worth it to stop, right? Hunger is not an emergency. I was one of those people who would carry food with them of like, oh, what if I get hungry? So this one was about learning that like you can wait until your next mealtime, of like you can wait until dinner, you can wait until lunch. Like you don't need to carry food with you all the time just in case you might be hungry, because it's not an emergency. Like you'll survive if you get hungry between breakfast and lunch. Like you'll be okay. Eating unplanned food, so like sticking to your meal plan. I have another one for when I'm upset, of like eating will not solve this problem, because I would eat thinking that would fix my problem, right? Eating unplanned food, like eventually when I was at 165, I really had to start tracking what I was eating. But up until then, I was really just using smaller plates, smaller forks, smaller bowls, and drinking more water. Up until I got to 165, now when I'm about my last 10 pounds and the last 10 pounds I'm going after, I had to start being more strict on what I was eating and just making sure I was getting plenty of like protein in. So for now, I've had to start tracking and really planning my food out, and just having a card to make sure I do that as a habitual thing has made such a difference. Cravings, like this one says, this is just a craving. I don't have to pay attention to it. It will pass. I can always eat this food tomorrow. So we're like, as humans, like I feel like we super want instant gratification where we're like, I want Dunkin' Donuts, let's go get it, right? But now I can drive past the Dunkin' Donuts and be like, meh, I can always get it tomorrow. Like, no big deal. I ended up quitting coffee while I was doing this, and I had a card for quitting coffee. Purely, for me, it was just because of all the junk I stuck in my coffee, all the creamer and the sweeteners and stuff. And then I also ended up cutting back a lot on alcohol. Again, it wasn't really until probably further along that I started drinking a lot less. Okay, I have another one in here for when life gets busy, you need to make yourself a priority. Like, as moms, think about how frequently we probably put other people first before ours. One about exercising, right? Changing your thinking. So I'm just going to just put them all together really quick so you can see. Like, you don't want to make one for every single thing you have a problem with, right? You don't want to make one for a million things. You only want to make them for the ones that will actually help you, like the things you have a problem with. So my deck is very small. It's not that big, right? And every morning, I just would go through it and I would look at my vision card. I would look at my whys, okay? Because when 3 o'clock hits and you're like, oh, I really kind of want a cookie. Like, remembering your why every single day makes such an impact when you review it, because then you'll remember it at 3 o'clock when you're having that problem, right? So you just sort of flip through. There's daily activities that I do also to make sure that like I am naturally hitting my goals, and just these are more like habits I do every day. Like every day I weigh myself, which some people, I'll have to make another separate video about this, but some people think that's like totally wrong to weigh yourself every day, but I actually feel like it helps me better. I try to do a unplanned exercise, so meaning like if I gotta go to the grocery store, then I'm gonna walk from the furthest part away from the grocery store instead of being parking closely. Okay. Another thing I do is like we don't give ourselves a lot of credit for when we do something really awesome, like working on our goals. So I have these other little cards in here where I give myself credit and say, like, I stopped myself from drinking over at so-and-so's house. That's something to be proud of myself with, that I said, no, I don't really want any wine today. Because I was over at my girlfriend's and we usually always end up having wine and some mixed drinks while like we're hanging out with friends and stuff. But I said, no, I'm good. I'm just going to get a flavored water. Like, the fact that I was able to do that is a victory that I should be celebrating. So there's so much more to this, right? But I just wanted for this video just to open your mind about how losing weight and keeping it off isn't about, like, yes, you have to eat less and you have to eat what's your body size and stuff, but it's more about your mind, and you have to fix what's going on in your mind for it to stick. So, and with the flashcards, like the index cards, it makes it so it becomes so ingrained as a person, like in your person, right? That it's easy, and you think of things later. Just today after the gym, I was like, ooh, I could totally go for a burrito from Taco Time and have some of their what are they called? Their hash browns are like incredible. But my card, from me remembering from reading it so many times, was the craving card of like, this is just a craving, it will pass, you can always have it another day. And then my other one that popped in my mind is like, it doesn't taste as good though as how you feel right now. So if this is helpful and you're currently on your own weight loss journey, hit subscribe so you can follow along. I'm going to be posting more details about this, and I actually have a whole guide where I'm going to give you some of these free templates for you to make your own cards and print them out. So follow along, hit subscribe, let me know what you're struggling with so I can make a video about it. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Okay.